What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we get into this, hit that subscribe button for us, like, comment, all that. We're gonna get right into it. We've got a Big Boost 3.4 kit here for this F30. And just to preface this guys, we're gonna be getting right into the videos, right down to the nitty gritty, save all the fluff. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff, this is the channel for you.
Guess I never thought I'd have to worry. Guess I never thought. Oh. Guess I never thought you tried to hurt me. Oh. Guess I never thought I'd have to worry. Guess I never thought.
Alright, so I want to do a quick rundown of the car, just of the current modifications. As you see, it looks stock, which is purposely done that way. So basically this is the winter setup. Right now in the northeast it's pretty chilly still, so these are going to be coming off. We have basically the F30 and the F31. I believe it's the track package setup, so they're kind of more of like a shadow style wheel with Michelin pilots all the way around. So they came with two 25s up front, I believe two 45s or two 55s in the rear. I think it's two 55s. So those tires are almost shot from last year. We're going to be upgrading those, but that's the summer wheel and tire setup. The car is on ST coilovers. It's at a comfortable ride height. We like to just keep everything very performance oriented, tasteful, and when you really start getting into suspension and driveline modifications, you have to look at the articulation of the suspension and the axles. So on the F-Gen chassis, really quick, we noted that when the car sits at a low level like this, the axles really like to be tilted upwards. So when you are pushing a lot of power and torque out of these, you want to make sure our suspension arms and axles are as straight as possible. If you compare it to like an E-Series chassis, it's totally different, but that's really getting technical, and you won't find too much info about it. But if you're ever underneath these cars when they're on the ground like this, take a look at it next time, you'll see what I mean. So I talked about the wheels, talked about the suspension. It does have the Hawk 5.0, I believe they're like HP pads, drilled and slotted rotors by StopTech. Basically just a BMS intake. It's bulletproof design, looks factory, we're going to be keeping it, and we also have a brand new air filter too. We are going to go with two-step Colder spark plugs. We're going to gap those accordingly. Going to stick with the factory N55, S55 coils. That'll pretty much take care of everything. We're going to go with an upgraded high pressure fuel pump. We're not going to release that info just yet, so keep an eye out on that. Same thing with the low pressure fuel pump system. That's also going to be upgraded, but we'll get into that in another video too. So all the fueling will be upgraded. It has a Valvetronic muffler delete, it's a little button flap, so that's a nice sleeper-ish kind of upgrade where you can basically straight pipe the car with the press of a button, and if you're just kind of going to dinner with your girlfriend, you can turn it on quiet mode, and you can still kind of dust the Corvettes on the way to dinner. So it's pretty cool. We're not going to go crazy with external modifications. We like how it looks. It's clean, it's tasteful, and when we do the Big Boost kit install, beauty of it is it's going to look stock in the engine compartment. So that's the goal here. This thing is going to be a complete sleeper, and we might put a wedge sticker on it. Depends on how much they crank it up. So we'll see how it goes. But that's the rundown on the car. Last thing, the trans does have HXP stage 3. It's been bulletproof. It shifts like lightning, so that's going to stay on the car too. So that's the rundown, and I'll get into the turbo kit details here. Alright, so I gave you an intro to the car. I'm going to do a quick introduction on everything that comes in the Big Boost package. Expectation for time frame when you order, this kit came in about 7 to 8 weeks. So whenever you order stuff like this, it's best just not to have a timeline. You can, but just don't put that type of stress on yourself, otherwise you're going to be doing repairs 2-3 times, and take your time, do it once. I said that in a couple other videos, so I'm going to show you everything here, and then we're going to get into the big boy behind me. So basically these are just some standard pipings, and what they are is this is going to be the turbo outlet. So this is the pressure side. This is a really nice factory connector. So whether or not if you have like a factory intercooler upgrade, you know, with the factory connections, you can still use this. Or if you have a universal intercooler or a custom one, you can basically just use the silicone adapter. And this is new too. They put a big boost on there, which is really nice. So just those small little touches is pretty sweet. Wiring connector for the electronic wastegate, miscellaneous vacuum tubing, coolant pipe, another coolant pipe. This goes into the block. This pipe is really nice. We did a kit on an E-Series chassis, I believe it was last year, a year and a half ago, and they upgraded their kits using this little piece here. So this wraps around, goes onto the block. The previous versions just used a couple of washers. So Big Boost is definitely upgrading some of the small little pieces in their kits too. So that's awesome to see. Again, just another silicone coupler, some cast aluminum piping. This will go to the intake system. Another one as well. This is going to be the down pipe. It's all stainless steel. O2 sensor bungs, and this is going to be the V-band on the turbo. So it's going to sit up there like that, and this will connect to the stock catback system. Standard silicone couplers. This big 4-inch one, if you can see it through the plastic, is going to go on the turbo inlet, and you have a couple of worm clamps too. So when we go through the kit, we personally like to use the T-bolt clamps. They're a little bit stronger, especially for upgraded, you know, obviously boost levels. So we're going to just kind of play that by ear. We're going to see what fits really nice. It does get tight in there too when you're doing the install, so sometimes you have to use a worm clamp, sometimes you have to use a T-bolt clamp. So we're going to kind of play that by ear, but if you have to buy some clamps, then that's totally okay. So here's the exciting part. Back here you have your manifold. This is a cast iron manifold. It's pretty heavy duty. So this is where the external wastegate would go if we were to use that on the F-Gen kit. Comes like that on the E-Series kit. That's why they also provide this block off plate too. So that will sit right on there, and that's what's going to be used on this kit. Really nice machined flange, and it looks like that they also, you know, took a flapper wheel, sandpaper, carbide bit, whatever it was, to the inside just to help smooth out some of the casting right in the ports here. So that was good that they did that for us. You have the gasket between the cylinder head and the manifold. Some more miscellaneous coolant lines. These are going to go on the turbocharger. They put nice clamps on here, one-time use clamps. They're pretty strong, so that's also a nice upgrade. That is also going to be another line, gasket, another line, etc. So this here is the blow-off valve kit. So this is an upgrade from Big Boost. So this guy will pretty much sit right on there. That'll go right on the side of the engine, pretty much right by the coolant reservoir. So we can kind of be making the cool turbo noises all over the place. And this guy right here is pretty much the heart of the kit. It is the 3.4 kit, so the biggest one that they make. And I believe if you look up the Master Power turbocharger, it's right around, I think it was like a 65 millimeter compressor wheel. So that's pretty nice. You can compare specs until you're blue in the face, but if you just kind of want to keep it simple and just compare compressor wheels, this is a 65 millimeter. The standard like N54 kits or like the 6266 and the 6466. So just the compressor wheel, this section only is comparable. There's a million specs for turbochargers, but that's kind of the most basic comparison. So you can kind of use that and do your own research from there. This is going to be on the exhaust side. This is going to bolt right up to the turbocharger, and this is going to go to the downpipe that we showed earlier. V-band for the exhaust, and this is also a steel engine mount bracket. So you do have to replace the stock one. The stock one is cast aluminum. It's very big and bulky. This one's extremely heavy duty. I think they probably use like 1/4 inch steel there, so that's definitely going to be stronger than stock. But that's kind of the rundown of the kit just in a couple of minutes. So for the most part, this guy is going to rip pretty good. So if the trans does blow on it, then we're going to have another video where we're going to do a manual 6-speed swap. But we hope we don't get to that point. So we're going to do a couple of roll racing events with this turbo and this car this year. So the content overall for this is going to be pretty good. And we're hoping that Wedge Performance really cranks it up pretty good on this thing. So stay tuned. This is just the intro, and there's much more to come.